I am the victim of my own moods, more than most people are, perhaps, in as much as I have a condition which requires me to take medication so that I don't get either too hyper or too depressed to the point of suicide. I go as far as to tell you that I attended it last year, so that I'm not always happy. It's the first time I've said this in public, but I thought I might as well. I'm president of Mind, and the whole point is, in my role, as I see it, is not to be shy and forthcoming about the morbidity and the genuine nature of the likelihood of death amongst people with certain mood disorders, if they don't look after it, if they think they can do without the medication or the regular visits to a doctor, and without taking care of themselves. And it was a close-run thing. I took a huge number of pills with a huge number of vodka, and the mixture of them made my body convulse so much that I broke 4 ribs. But I was still unconscious. Unfortunately, the producer I was filming at the time came into the hotel room, and I was found in a sort of unconscious state and taken back to England and looked after. Now, you may say, how can anybody who's got it all be so stupid as to want to end it all? That's the point. There's no why. It's not the right question. There's no reason. If there were a reason for it, you could reason someone out of it, and you could tell them why they shouldn't take their own life. And some of the most brilliant minds there have been have taken their lives, writers, artists, and people who are not particularly famous but are wonderful people. I like to think that if I had children, I would think harder about doing it, but I know people who have children who've done it, or did know people who've had children who've taken their own lives. Sometimes it's the expression I imagine on my mother and father's face, both of whom are alive and happy, that stops me. But there are other occasions when I can't stop myself, or at least I feel I can't. And you may say, well, that's what friends are for. You talked about Hugh, and why didn't you just call him up? And all my friends, when they heard about this, family, when they eventually heard about it, came to visit me in the hospital, said, why didn't you call? And I said, it's a very odd thing, but put it this way. It's a cheap and silly way of putting it, but it's just as true. Think of your very best friend, your very, very best friend, and suppose you suddenly noticed you had a massive and really disturbing genital wart. Would you show it to your very best friend?